Welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to be using these boxes here to cut out some geometry from our collars so that they'll kind of match up and kind of fit together very snugly. So let's go ahead and dive on in. Let's go to File, Open, and just open up the last saved version, Draft 6, and we can save it as Draft 7. So first notice that, our mesh is kind of overlapping here. That's okay. We made them a little bit larger because we're going to essentially cut both of these pieces here in half with a box Boolean. So let's go ahead and do that. We can start with the neck nut here. We can even just hide this. We'll just click on it and hit H. And let's go into this one. And we still have our 3D cursor right there. So that is great. And then just make sure you're inside your flexible design here. And we'll do Shift A. And let's add a cube. And it's going to come in really tiny, 2 millimeters. But let's just crank that up to maybe like 50. Let's see what that does. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that's covering all the collar there. And we'll do G and Z. Just bring it on down. And just kind of cut that in half. We don't have to be exact right now. We can always come back and adjust it. So just click on that box. Shift click on the neck nut. And do Control- on the numpad. And there we go. So now we've got kind of a little cut there. While we've got these two still selected, let's go ahead and do Control-P to parent the box to the neck nut. Now, if we move those around, if we move this one around, this box will come with it. So that is very helpful. And we'll go ahead and save. And that's all we have to do for that one. So we can even just call this like nut cube. And just go ahead and bring that. And notice we did parent this box to this nut, but since it's in a different, since it's not in the same collection, it's still down here. But notice when we bring it into this collection here, it's going to just automatically go under the parent there. So watch as we drop. Notice it's now inside here. So that's just a strange thing or way that Blender kind of shares objects in different composition or different collections. So now it's all nice and tucked away there. We can even turn that off, turn on our bolt. So one thing about this bolt down here is that we have this kind of space right here that I want to get rid of. And this is just me kind of MacGyvering or tweaking or remixing this bolt file, but I don't want this little piece right here. I just want the teeth. So we are going to, and I also want to have this kind of the head of this bolt separate from the screws. So an easy way to do that is just to go into your bolt. We're going to go tab and we can just select all these faces here. So I'll just drag all those and then just do Control+ on your keyboard until you start selecting all the base of the bolt here. So notice it's just slowly going up to that. And there we go. So now you should have a nice even selection of your bolt here. Go in there and check it out. Make sure there's nothing crazy going on. That's looking pretty good. So now what we want to do is just separate this selection. So I'm just going to hit P and pop off the selection. Notice what happens in our layers. And there we go. We've got bolt 2. So this is the bolt base. So that'll just make it easier on the brain. So we got essentially the bolt base and the two parts here. So we can even call these like bolt threads. There we go. So there's our threads. The issue with these is that they kind of have holes in them. Like if we click on one of these and hide it, notice it's wide open there. So what we can do is just click on this little base here, go to our 3D print toolbox, clean up and make manifold. Boop. And there it goes. Fix that. We can turn on our bolt base, hide the other one. Notice we got a big hole here. Click on that, make manifold, bloop, and it fixed it for us. So go ahead and save. And we can now take our bolt base and create a little cube to cut this out. So make sure you're in object mode. We're on the nut and bolt and do Shift A. And we're just going to create another cube. And since we already did 50, there it is. And we can do G and Z, bring that down. We're actually going to cut from this side. So we'll go to side view so we can see it here. And we're just going to trim a piece of this off. So click on the box, click on the base bolt there, do Control-, and notice we've got a nice subtraction happening there. And let's go ahead and parent it. So we can do Control P, set parent to object. Now, if we move this bolt up and down, it's going to move that Boolean with it. So nice and easy there. And let's turn our bolt threads on. And now what we need to do is kind of just morph these two objects together. And let's turn on our nut, go into side view. And so what we're doing now is just checking all of our threading. So we want to make sure, now everything's going to fit nicely in here. We'll be snug in here. Our little roll will be right at the base of our screw-in thread here. We've got nice gaps for our threads. And now we just need to bring this guy right here, G and Z, bring them up and just kind of nestle that in right there. And we can even leave just a tiny, tiny bit of gap for that too. It doesn't have to be perfectly touching, since this is going to be an actual physical object. And now we just combine these two objects together. So we can take the threaded teeth here, shift click on the bolt base there and do Control plus. And looky there. Now we've got those together. We can even parent those, Control P. And now if we grab this base here and do GZ, notice it all moves together. And when we go into printing this, it's going to be really nice and snug and make a really cool collar for us. And that's just kind of just, we didn't have to do that, but I just thought it'd be cool if it looks like, when the bolt finishes spinning in, it looks like a cool dog collar and kind of nice and evenly spaced. So that is all for today's lessons. Make sure you go ahead and save. And now we successfully have two different parts that can be threaded together. So good job if you made it this far. This is very exciting and is going to be very cool when it 3D prints out. Now let's go ahead and dive on into the next lesson.